So what I really saw would be the most admirable way for healthy junk food, because the separation, that was leaked everywhere. Like, everyone knew. It's almost like, man, this just seems forced. It doesn't seem authentic. I think we lost everything that, like, we once had. It's almost like a relationship dying. It's sad. It's like a divorce, and your audience is like the family, the kids. And they want to side with mom or dad now, and they're like, can you guys just make up and be friends? I would wish the world for any of that to happen, but I have no control over that. But what I did envision was, and I thought that this would be great, we create like a best of, we still manage and maintain our obligations with other companies, you know, with what we need to do, and we just upload less. Like only what's really important. Like, because we can survive, like, there's a backlog of videos that people are going to watch, but just whatever it is that we upload, it's like personally something that we loved, we wanted to do, and it wasn't forced and rushed out. And then also I thought it'd be smart, because everyone likes to see spin-offs, is that I would spin off with comedy, and then could spin off with fitness, because she really got into, and like, I was very supportive of the fashion and the fitness, and I think that it would have been great. And then you could just get your audiences to go these directions, and then you can do what you love in the next chapter of your life. And then healthy junk food remains this beautiful thing that was created and can live there forever in all of its beauty.
Now that is the half of the team that is making sense, yet he never had a chance to bring those ideas to fruition, because the crazy lady got ahead of him, stabbed him in the back, so to speak, and locked him out of his own channel, then brought a lawsuit against him. Wait a minute, crazy lady, that doesn't sound very nice. She's sort of acting like a bit like a pirate, taking JP's channel away from him. Crazy lady. Can we come up with another name for Julia?
Sea bitches are female pirates. A female pirate is called a sea bitch.
No, I believe you. I'm just saying, like, who knows that?
One guy right here, 50% of the car.
All right, if you guys are watching this, you know what a sea bitch?
Sea bitch.
That kind of fits. So, I'm still going to avoid saying it myself. So it's been spoken to. And crazy lady, lying backstabber, identity thief. There's just so many that we could choose from. So anyway, Julia, about 6 weeks ago, publishes The Actual Truth. And she's got a problem with the English language, because truth is the truth. It's self-evident. To say the actual truth is pretty stupid, especially when you're rebuttaling your own lying narrative. When Julie went to 7-Eleven, she was talking about prices, and she said, this is the same exact almost price. And I did a reaction. I said, what do you mean same exact? And then you follow it with almost. So JP also is good with English too. So he rebutted Julia's garbage with the super duper truth. Even when he's being attacked by this lying witch with a W, he's still bringing the funny to this whole mess. This reaction to Julia's second fake real talk and the attendant argument that she is going to ruin her future in show business by finishing this trial and refusing to start a fresh channel of her own is going to take about an hour and 15 minutes to do. And while it is entertaining in places, in other places it is not. So my suggestion to you, if you want to try to take this all in, is to get a big black coffee at the start.
About a year ago, I posted a video answering questions that you guys have been asking.
Yes, you did. The problem is, you only answered selected questions that fit your lying, dishonest, false narrative, and you ignored the bulk of the questions from the healthy junk food fans. You also went on to make bold statements, lies of your own, removed from any questions that people wanted to hear of. And I reacted to it immediately, calling it for what it was, pure baloney. And I don't swear in the healthy junk food reactions for the most part. So, okay, let's say BS. And I knew it was all garbage because you were saying, oh, but JP and I are still great friends. And we support each other by splitting up like this. And no, that makes no sense. There's no way that JP would have left the channel he created without saying a word and without having a nice sober sit down and talk and saying, hey guys, I'm about to go over here to my own channel and do comedy and other projects. Julia is going to have healthy junk food and she's going to pretend that it's healthy junk food, only it's not healthy junk food anymore because we're broken up. Yeah, that's what really happened. And a month after that, you, and before I say your real name, we know that you're a dirty player, we know that you're a liar. So, I gotta be careful here in case you report this to YouTube and say you're getting doxxed. I operate my channel never using my real name. You use your real name every now and then, and for the most part, you hide behind Julia, which is a name you stole from The Wedding Singer. The book that you're promoting all the time on what's left of healthy junk food, that's got your real name in it. So you're sharing your real name with the book. Plus you do interviews back when healthy junk food was worth talking to, and you say what your real name is. So about a month after I rebutted your nonsense, that was when you struck this channel with 8 bogus copyright takedowns. And you are a liar. Julia Yarinsky exploited and abused the YouTube platform to tell lies with it and swear she was bringing copyright lawsuits 8 times in one day. That speaks to who you are. You are a dang liar. So we're opening with that before we move forward with the rest of this reaction. You're lying all over the place. So just for color commentary's sake, we're going to run your lies and then we're going to wrap up with some comments from JP. In addition to the argument that we make, which is you have ruined your future in show business. And before we get started with that, let's make sure that we cross the T's and dot the I's with transformation. And that will be there. And it more befits your personality rather than just letting you sit there and tell lies in the car again.
I realize now that I actually didn't answer everything in full.
No, it is that your first attempt at real talk was so fake and filled with lies that now, after you drew first blood with that garbage, we have JP telling the truth as the story carries on, which necessitates you coming back with another helping of garbage that you have to sell in a dishonest fashion, such as, oh, it's on me. I, red herring, was telling you the truth, red herring, and I realize now I actually didn't tell you all the truth, red herring, as if you told any truth to begin with. You are so fake and studied and prepared and contrived so to as better support your lying narrative. When JP has his real talk, he's relaxed. He's a clown for the channel. In real life, he's relaxed. He's talking for real. On the other hand, you are playing a character right now, okay? You're totally fake. I don't know where this reaction's gonna go. We got a half an hour of your garbage to get through. I think I'm gonna fast forward through a lot of it because you repeat yourself a heck of a lot. And I do have a point to make at the end of this, which is Julia is not going to be taking down JP with this foul activity. She's only shooting herself in the foot for any future she may yet have in show business. She's ruining herself with that. So we might do a lot of fast forwarding because it's just bold-faced lies. And if I have to answer all of it, the dang reaction is going to be like 3 hours. So we got a point to make, and we'll be having some footage from JP. So please, entertain us with your garbage.
That I actually didn't answer everything in full. At that point in time, I had a high expectation of how things were going to go. Unfortunately, things moved in an entirely different direction.
Yes, and that unfortunate direction was undertaken by yourself, because instead of sitting down and having a sober conversation about how to break up the team and have you both go your separate ways and leaving Healthy Junk Food's back catalog alone without saturating it with bitterness, you were the one to initiate legal proceedings. And once you get that thing started, then it takes a long time to finish, and it's going to be a lot of pain for everybody. You are the one that put it in a bad direction. You are the one that did it. And we know people like you who are the aggressors, yet they pretend to be the victim.
And now here I am in my car starting over. Here's the entire story from the beginning of Healthy Junk Food until today.
Not even going to bother listening to what she has to say. And that is not because I'm putting my fingers in my ears and going la 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 la, or denying her a chance to say something. It is that once people have made it apparent that they are liars and gaslighters, you just write them off. If you want to listen to her garbage, you can go to the channel she stole from JP.
Just to be clear, I did not quit Healthy Junk Food. I was locked out of all of my accounts, and then a lawsuit was filed against me.
And listen to her lies there. The reason why I say that they are lies is because she's going to play you old clips of JP speaking highly of her, and you could say like, oh, that's the truth of what's really going on. Back then, they were in love. They were also a professional team. They were working towards marriage, which they've been teasing us with for years. And guys will speak much more highly of a woman if he's working towards marriage with her and also works with her and works with her in public. Just remember that the channel that she stole from JP and which she is speaking from was created January 26, 2013. And whatever she's got to say about it and what her role was in it, remember this: JP's personal channel was started August 19, 2006. That was 7 years earlier. So he was already on his way, all by himself, to being a YouTube creator without Julia Yarinsky. And another thing about her, as I just said her real name, I want to remind you that Julia Yarinsky is a 21st century identity thief. She abused YouTube, and she also abused the channel that JP created to come after me with 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns in 1 day. She stole my real name, she stole my real address, she stole my real phone number, and she did it by abusing the channel that JP created, and she stole from him. And if YouTube's policies would have changed in that time that she did it, the whole channel might have come down, for all we know. That shows how irresponsible and disrespectful she is to what JP created. She's a... What type of pirate is she? What was it?
Sea bitch.
So we are going to fast forward through her lying narrative of the history of Healthy Junk Food, because you can't take a story from the person who actually stole the channel.
Which means there will be a follow-up video after this explaining even more so, as changes are still happening due to a court case that will be defined in detail.
Did you notice how many cuts there were just in those few sentences? That's because she's a liar and she can't keep her story straight and just to keep stopping and starting over again. Here, I'll run that one more time and then we'll get to her starting her story, and then we're just gonna fast forward right through it, because listening to the thief tell the story is like listening to the guy who holds up a liquor store telling you what happened.
Unfortunately, things moved in an entirely different direction. And now here I am in my car starting over. Here's the entire story from the beginning of Healthy Junk Food until today. Here are some examples of those contracts, just blurring out some of the brand names.
Not only did Julia sue her former partner, which was also her business partner, in show business, so it's all in public, which was bad enough, she is now sharing former client contracts in the content that she is producing on Healthy Junk Food. And it does not matter that she has censored some private data, because she's brought a claim against JP. So it is possible for any of these contracts to get brought in as evidence for both parties to squawk about, and then it's all going to become public. Julia is making herself dangerous to do business with. You do business with Healthy Junk Food, you got Julia Urinsky on the team, here is your contracts in public, and no business wants that. And her solo dolo, forget it.
And, private information. He always had full control of all of the funds under a business he started in upstate New York, even though we were both contracted. It was nothing that I ever worried about because I just loved making videos. And
it does not matter that you were both contracted to perform as Healthy Junk Food. JP built the house, so it only makes sense for him to control the money at the start. Later on, as a condition of marriage, you wanted a 50% cut of the business before you got married, and so you got it, when really you should have got 10, 20, 30% max. The man was in love back then, so yeah, he said yes to a 50-50 split, and now you do this to the guy.
And I trusted him with the business. Several years went by, Healthy Junk Food continued to grow, more opportunities continued to come in, and we took a leap of faith and moved. When we moved from upstate New York down to Florida, it was important for us to change our business to a Florida business to take advantage of tax credits, and that's how JP and Julia LLC was created. We were both joint owners because we both did all the work together. So we lived in an apartment downtown Orlando for a long time until COVID happened and JP got the itch and said he really wanted to buy a house. Personally, I wasn't ready, but when one certain house came on the market, we took a leap of faith and moved.
So you were not ready, and JP is the one that got the itch. JP moves the two of you forward. You have that beautiful castle to live in, and the best part, as far as the business is concerned, is that the property came with a huge detached garage, which JP turned into a studio and a mini nightclub. Let's take a trip down memory lane. That fabulous studio and mini nightclub was lost because of Julia. They both could have been local impresarios for the artistic community, fostering talent and making themselves into big shots as they did so. Yet it was all gone because Julia sued JP. You cannot live, work, or negotiate, talk, carry on, do anything with a party that effing sues you. So they could have liquidated the castle, and here was this fabulous facility, and it's all gone because of Julia and her rage.
He really wanted to buy a house. Personally, I wasn't ready, but when one certain house came on the market, we took a leap of faith and moved. Before we bought the house, we had started fighting about things pretty consistently, mainly about work, and how work was really messing with our personal relationship. Neither of us were happy. For every single production, I slapped a smile on my face and prayed and hoped that he wasn't going to be mean to me during recording, as he was always mean, and then he would apologize afterwards, promise that he wouldn't be like that anymore because he really wanted to do everything that he was doing with me. It was very consistent that I would take his apology, put the problem under the rug, hope that it wouldn't happen again, but it continued to happen over and over and over again.
Are you trying to do damage control and create a revisionist history, portraying J.P. Lambiase as the abusive, stereotypical wife-beater type of guy? Get the F out of here. You want to talk about who the mean one is? It's you. You stole his channel.
I was locked out of all of my accounts, and then a lawsuit was filed against me.
And you sued him when you could have gone to mediation or something. You are ruthless. And I forgot to mention one other thing. When you stole my identity by lying to YouTube to take it, you got my real name, address, phone number, and you forced me to give you my real email. You took everything. You're a thief. You're a 21st century thief. And now you're sitting there, oh, he's so mean. We just do reactions around here, okay? It's a small channel. And you gambled that I didn't have it registered in my real name, so I wouldn't be able to rebut your claims. And I had to give you all that to save the channel. You want to talk about mean? You are the mean one in all of this. Like I said, I'm just a third party, a reaction channel, and you had to reach out to try to spoil all our fun and take away the little bit of money I get for doing this and ruin our community, which is really just a bunch of friends making fun of Ken Domik most of the time.
Ding!
And you want to talk about being mean? Get the F out of here.
It got to a point where I was just so nervous all the time, like walking on eggshells around him. I didn't ever want to upset him because then something would blow up and he would get very exasperated and upset.
Who in the actual F are you trying to convince with this bogus narrative of yours? You are the aggressor, and what people like you do is turn it around and try to portray yourselves as the victim. That's how you do things. If your former partner was, let's say, Bartley Weaver the Fourth, then we could believe you that, I didn't know what to do. He was not being nice to me, and I was so afraid of getting him upset. We're talking about JP here, the guy who plays a clown on the internet and invests, the Asian who's good with technology. He doesn't do stuff like that. People like him don't do stuff like that. Who the F are you kidding? Get out of here with this garbage. Nobody believes you, honey.
My body just goes into this fight or flight mode that I can't even describe very well, but luckily some therapy that I've been taking has been helping me really decipher and figure out like why I acted the way I did. What I should have done when he was mean to me repetitively is walk away and stand my ground and hold my boundary.
Notice that fake little laugh she puts in there to make you believe that she's telling you a real story? That's how liars do it. It's like, let me tell you, that's what I should have done. That's what happened. What the what? Who else do we know does that?
Ding!
Stand my ground and hold my boundaries and keep them set, but I didn't. I let him walk all over me.
What the F are you talking about? You childishly and capriciously took the advantage to lock him out of his channel and steal his channel that you're squatting on right now. Then you sued him. You're taking the advantage, you're being mean, you're walking all over him. I'm going to remind you again that you lied using YouTube as your vessel to do it, swearing that you were going to bring copyright lawsuits against me for something you know, which is protected free speech in both the United States of America and Canada. And you did it only to shut the channel down if I had made the mistake of not registering in my own name. And in so doing, you managed to steal my name, address, phone number, and email address, all of it private. And there was nothing I can do about it. I can complain to YouTube, and people like you who abuse those loopholes are despicable. And you sit there and say, oh, I was getting walked all over. You're an absolute hypocrite. Please, continue.
Stand my ground and hold my boundaries and keep them set, but I didn't. I let him walk all over me. But opportunities continued to come our way. Brand deals, awesome collaborations. We were still so freaking unhappy whenever the freaking camera went off. And sometimes when the camera was on. And I have several editors I've worked with in the past that have literally told me that they saw how mean he was to me.
Where are they? Why do they not want to back you up on camera if it is true? And if it is true, call them as witnesses. And when your trial is over, pay for the transcript, publish it, and then you can speak to it.
Through video footage. And even friends of mine through collaborations that have said, I remember when we shot this, and this, and he was so mean to you during that production.
Who said that? Where are their affidavits? If you have them, or they're called as witnesses, then you're getting far, far ahead of yourself in the trial that you brought. What kind of advice are you getting from your lawyer that he allows you to go out on a limb like this, burning JP down using the channel that he built? Let's fast forward through some of this garbage. This reaction is taking too long.
I can't live in falsification.
You brought 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns against my channel in one day. You are steeped in falsifications. You are a liar. And there are tons of edits in your real talk, which demonstrates that you are speaking from a carefully prepared script so you can skirt around the truth and spread more lies about JP.
Giving up is just not in my blood.
Really, Julia? Then why not complete the copyright lawsuits you said you were going to bring against me? You gave up on them. Oh, giving up is just not in my blood. I guess it is when you're lying, and for what reason would you have brought them? Transformative use of content from another source, which you do all the time. Hey everybody, it's Julia running somebody else's effing TikTok so she can piggyback on their success trying to copy what they did. Oh, there's Julia running stock footage from a fast food chain because it serves her purposes, and she's gonna sue me for using her material? Go suck a lemon. No swearing in the Healthy Junk Food reactions.
We tried McDonald's, freaking Canada.
You did? And while you were there, you didn't bother to send Ken Domik a few $100 to put him on a plane to fly over and you could do a collab with him? Now that is something I agree with. Good work.
And much, much more. Those videos may never ever see the light of day. That doesn't mean I won't go back and experience that stuff again, but until then...
Until then, nobody cares. And if you do decide to go back there and shoot that footage again by yourself, nobody cares, because without JP, the chemistry is gone, you're not funny, and you're just another schmuck with a food channel.
Let's just call it lost footage.
Let's just call it something else. A lost career on your part. Even though you're in the public arena, it is to a diminished degree. And what you're doing with JP's channel while you're squatting on it is spreading lies about him and reporting your side only on a lawsuit you brought against him. The channel was all about fun and laughs, joy, good times, and you're ruining it on an ongoing basis. When you're finished, you're going to be toxic to work with. What you should be doing is building on the reputation that still remains and starting a fresh channel and leave JP alone. Fitness, food, sophistication. You better hurry up and do it while people still have a little bit of good feelings towards you instead of what you're doing right now. You're shooting yourself in the foot.
His behavior did not change at all during this trip. He was mean during every single production. I lived in fear of him. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. And then he started to get a little bit aggressive with me. My mom came up the stairs with me, helped me grab some things. That evening, my mom was supposed to leave town. I begged her to stay one more night because I wasn't feeling safe or comfortable. I didn't feel safe anymore in the house. So I left, I went and stayed at a friend's house. Then I started to get very harassing texts from him.
Really? You did? Well, I received very harassing materials from yourself, Julia Yarinsky, with which you tried to take down my channel in one day. I know I'm not going to be part of any of the content that you make criticizing JP. You're just going to ignore it. However, you, punk, liar, tried to take my channel down with fraudulent copyright takedowns. 8 of them in one day. And what did JP harass you with? Threats of violence to people or property? No, just the bickering between the two of you, which is only natural once the relationship and the business fell apart. Please, continue.
He told me over and over again to prove to him that nothing was on this phone. And that's when he texted me that he was gay, which is something that he's also acknowledged to several other people, if that's true or not, way before I ever mentioned it. Therefore, he's outed himself. I still don't know if he really is or not. I don't want to make this conversation personal, but trust me, that would explain a lot.
Right there! You just shot yourself in the foot again. You are reducing your feet to Swiss cheese. It is shocking that somebody who worked with JP for so long has no appreciation of the somewhat effeminate character that he portrays for the good of the channel and the laughs that he would get with it. It is not your prerogative to out him. He was playing with the idea, trying to do something dramatic, distract you, and get his property returned. As a comedian, he also pokes fun at himself. That is not him outing himself officially. He was playing with the idea. It's not your prerogative. It's not your right. And YouTube is not a place for pieces of crap such as yourself to decide you're going to out another human. That's what YouTube is about. It's you on the tube. It's people being creative on internet television to do something fun and interesting. It's not a dang place for a piece of crap like you to decide, I'm going to out JP. And what you just said there about him, that would explain a lot. Do you have any idea how many people who are creative you just alienated with that? How much hate is behind that? That would explain a lot. Right after you portray him as a horrible person, you are ruining your future in show business, honey, okay? There's not going to be anything left of it. And you're so filled with rage and lies and self-entitlement and very little talent with the channel on your own that you should just stop this insanity and do a fresh channel, your fitness, fashion, food of sophistication, some wine, and be real and leave this alone. That would explain a lot. You have got no idea, no clue. The intelligent half of the team is JP, and you just keep shooting yourself in the feet again.
I just want to thank all the guys who slid into my DMs. I'm sincerely not gay.
That would explain a lot. And I even told him, I support you, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to love, I'm happy for you. Like, I don't want to fight. I want everyone to get along. I just want to move forward. I want to be creative. I want to make things happen. I want to be a mover and a shaker.
So you say you want to support him. How do you do that? By jumping the gun on him if he really was gay and outing him on YouTube. You say you don't want to fight. You brought a lawsuit against him. You want to get along. See the previous point. You want to move forward. Bringing a lawsuit sends everybody backward, you stupid CB. You want to make things happen? All you do is create chaos and share hate. You start this channel, a small reaction channel with 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns in one day. That speaks to who you really are and how you do things. You want to be creative. You could have fooled me. You're relying heavily on the TikToks of other creatives trying to recreate them. And without the comedy interplay of you and GP, it's pretty boring. You want to make things happen. All you're doing is destroying things. You want to be a mover and a shaker? Then you better drop all of this and start creating a new channel right now before you ruin all the goodwill that remains. Let's have her say all that crap again.
And I even told him, I support you, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to love, I'm happy for you.
Happy for him. And when you said that he was gay, You then followed with, "That would explain a lot," with a sneer. Your lawyer should tell you to stop talking.
Like, I don't want to fight. I want everyone to get along. I just want to move forward. I want to be creative. I want to make things happen. I want to be a mover and a shaker. I forgot to bring up, on July 5th, I received an email from his attorney that he retained saying that I needed to respond regarding the business concern.
Nice piece to use. Julia is moving too quickly. Let's read the whole thing. Julia, JP has retained me to assist with this. If you have counsel on the matter, I'm happy to speak with them directly. Please forward to me. Your email is deeply concerning and shows a misunderstanding of laws relating to LLCs, Limited Liability Corporations. Even if JP were to have said he was done working on the business, that does not mean that he ceases to have ownership. Please refrain from any action that will harm the business until this matter can be discussed and resolved by the parties. Attempting to move assets from this entity to a new one will result in unnecessary legal action to protect JP's rights. Please let me know that you have received this email and when you are able to discuss this matter in further detail. We would like to work cooperatively toward a result that both parties can be content with. JL, that's JP's lawyer, John Laster. That is the sober and reasonable thing to do. The trouble is that both JP and Julia are angry with each other. Julia doesn't like how the negotiations are going, so she jumps the gun, leaves negotiations, and sues JP. Which, to be fair, is an oversimplification on my part. However, this is supposed to be halfway funny, and we really don't know who is telling the full truth on either side. We can only speculate. However, my small part in this is that I used to be a fan, and when I started doing the reactions, Julia hit me with 8 fraudulent copyright strikes in one day, which is both unfair to me and an abuse of the channel that she stole from JP. She's going to argue that she hasn't stolen the channel from him because he still gets revenue from it. She stole the channel because she's controlling it. JP didn't have a chance to say goodbye. She took over, and then she started talking nonsense, which is unfair to him. And to be fair to the audience, and to Julia, because I want to do so, I don't want to run her talking for the next several minutes, because it's going to get too boring, and there's very little money to be made by making these reactions. I put hours and hours in, and I get peanuts in return. So if you want to hear her side, go to Healthy Junk Food, and you can go check out everything that she has to say. My feeling on her is that she is a liar. And more than a liar, she lied to YouTube, abused it, and tried to take my channel away, which would not only wipe out the criticism of Healthy Junk Food the way she's running it, it would also wipe out the fun that we have reacting to Ken Domik. So, my opinion of her is that she's a liar, and I don't want to listen to anything more she has to say, because I'm going to get peanuts for all my work here. So, to be fair to her, you can go over to Healthy Junk Food, and you can watch her talk over there. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this, and I'm going to touch upon some comments she has near the end, and then we're just going to approach my argument that she's ruining her future in show business by doing this.
With either an attorney or myself. And also saying that I stole the channel, which I never stole it because he still owns 50% of it. So my attorney drew up a lawsuit, said we're gonna kick him out for his bad behavior. There's a lot of people that are like, you're a cheating, lying, stealing thief, I hate you, go die, kill yourself.
When Julia mentions all of this criticism, she fails to mention in her content that we here at KDRC remain the world leader in healthy junk food reactions, which nobody cares about.
Healthy junk food is us. It's not you and it's not me. I go, if you decide to take it on alone, you're gonna get hate. And then not coming from me.
And I take offense at the notion that she acted to wipe my channel out. So even though she doesn't talk about me in her content, remember that this woman sat down and did 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns in one day. She probably had to spend an hour and a half doing it. So I'm on her radar. She knows my real name and address and all that. It's like, why? I mean, you don't have any balls or a backbone. You can't take a little bit of criticism. So I just wanted to let it be known that I never uttered such horrible things that she just... I'm afraid to even say those things because I think it gets your monetization compromised or something. So I just poke fun. I say, yeah, you're in great shape. You got a great butt. And go start a fresh channel or something like that, you know? Does she expect me to be sweet to her after she tries to wipe out my little community here? No. And that's my opinion of her. Well, I shouldn't say opinion. It's the truth. 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns in one day. And she just ran some of JP's material. So it's totally okay for her to constantly borrow from others and to speak to them. Yet if I do it, she tries to wipe out the whole dang channel. And that makes her a genuine liar. That's why I'm just fast forwarding through a great deal of what she has to say.
Just quit. A lot of me says the hate is going to be the fuel to keep pushing me forward. But a lot of me says, why even freaking do this? But I'll tell you why. I love making videos. I love creating content. I love theater. I love stage. I love production. I love movies. I love writing. I love food. I love cooking. I love travel. I love sharing stories with people like you. And you know what? I'm not freaking stopping. Healthy junk food is a part of me. It's something that I created since inception. Like I told you from the beginning, this legal matter is a huge freaking hiccup in the storyline of where healthy junk food is going to go and where it's going.
Do you remember, Julia, the time you were reviewing those donuts and you said, all I have to do is smoke something and it'll be a much better donut? I'm not going to go get the dang clip because this reaction is going past the point of being funny and entertaining. It's too long. And the most important thing is I'm getting angry at making it because I'm putting way too much work into it and I know I'm going to get like 10 cents for it. So, given that you did say that, whether you were joking or not, are you smoking something now? Healthy Junk Food was you and JP together, the special chemistry, the comedic interplay. It was mostly him, you were a sidecar, and without JP, you're like cornflakes without the milk. It's Abbott without Costello, it's Laurel without Hardy, R2-D2 without C-3PO, Sunny without Cher. Forget it, it's in the toilet, and you should have rebuilt with an authentic channel that doesn't rely on junk food in the title, because we know you're not into junk food. You can't be a fitness maniac and be into junk food at the same time. You're in great shape. We know you're not really eating it.
And where it is right now, it's a little bit of a standstill.
Little bit of a standstill. Maybe JP was right when he said that you weren't so good at math. On paper, Healthy Junk Food has almost 3 million subscribers. And with you running things by yourself, you're like 20K and less per. JP has got 23,000 subs, and he is on average about 12K per. Both of you enjoy big spikes above what you normally get when you talk about the other one exclusively. So it's only speaking to the remains, the past of Healthy Junk Food, that interests what is left of your remaining fan base. JP is beating you 6 ways from Sunday with the views that he's getting. And you're a colossal failure without him. What you're doing by suing him is souring the legacy and making yourself a danger to work with.
And just to let you guys know, every single thing that I've accused JP of, I have an abundance of proof.
If that is true, which I don't believe it is, because you brought 8 fraudulent copyright takedowns against this channel in one day, which lets me know that you're a liar and you're a dirty player. If what you say is true, then you should just be as quiet as a mouse and sit on it and wait for your trial to arrive instead of what you're doing now.
That I've already provided through a discovery to JP's attorney, where he also has access to all of that. Now, I haven't received a single document from him regarding anything necessary to move forward or to back up any claims he's made. That's how the law works.
That is how the law works. How the law works is that you swore in writing to be bringing a copyright lawsuit against me for what you knew was fair use, which you do yourself when borrowing material from other creators. You lied in writing. You swore to be bringing a claim that you knew that you couldn't bring. You are an example of how the law doesn't work because you're a liar.
We have to give each other proof of the claims we make. You can't prove it, it's not true. Like my lawyer said, you can speak up because it's not defamation if it's the truth.
Do you all know how whenever somebody starts talking about a legal matter between a couple of big shot parties and they give their opinion and they say, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving any legal advice here, people do not have to be so terrified to speak to legal advice because lawyers are, for the most part, mercenaries. When they say, we will fight for you, they will if you have some money. It's like the late, great Richard Pryor said about immigrants trying to get the United States. They think that the streets are paved with gold. And he said, quote, if you got some money, you can get something to eat, close quote. And that is the community of lawyers. Whether they win or lose, if you got money to pay for them, they're going to get money. So I'm not afraid because it's not like being a doctor or something, prescribing pills out of a side door and pretending to be a doctor. We are all allowed to talk about legal matters. We need to stop being afraid of lawyers and think that they're so smart. How can you have two lawyers who graduated from university holding law degrees? How is it possible for both of them not to know what the effing law is? How can one of them be so profoundly wrong? It's because they're there to take your money for the most part. You're lucky if you get a good one who's not a mercenary. So I'm going to give you some legal advice. Once you bring a claim against somebody and you've got a trial set, what the truth is will be determined by the judge after hearing the evidence. So your lawyer should be telling you to shut the F up and wait for your trial.
I've realized throughout all of this how important it is to me to communicate to you guys what's going on. That way you know the truth. Because if someone else tells a lie and no one else speaks up, how could a voice be heard that never speaks?
Holy cow, that was clumsy, you ditz. Probably we're not going to be remembering that quote alongside, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound?
If someone else tells a lie and no one else speaks up, how could a voice be heard that never speaks?
Let us apply that to what you try to do to this channel. How could it be heard if it never gets to speak? Because it gets eliminated by you abusing the copyright reporting tool. You dishonest, dirty playing liar. Okay, so she's almost done. Then we're going to get to some footage from JP, and then I'm going to get to my argument that what Julia is doing is damaging her own career in show business.
I'll also post that information in the description of this video if you want to follow the case, because it will be resolved at some point, hopefully sooner than later, and you guys can see, it'll all unravel. It has to. I mean, once it's wound up.
With her comments at the end of her fake real talk, Julia is sort of getting ahead of what I wanted to say a little later on, at least in part. It's all going to unravel. Thing is, it already has unraveled, which is a successful personal and business team which produced a very popular channel, Healthy Junk Food, which is now gone. And there is now a trial set. Suing somebody is like playing poker. Sometimes you're not really serious about completing it. There's a chance they will never have the trial, and that's between the two of them. And if that takes place and they arrive at a settlement, there will probably be a mutual confidentiality agreement, and we'll never know what happened. the thing is, even if there is a trial, there will probably still be that, which will allow the two of them to leave and to leave each other alone and to pursue their own businesses. And they will shut up about each other because neither one is allowing the other to do that at the moment. And that's not because JP is a bastard. It's because Julia started the whole mess by suing him in the first place. So, whether they have a trial or not, probably there will be some sort of mutual confidentiality agreement, and they're not going to be allowed to talk about this stuff anymore. So her promising, you know, all the truth is going to come out, no, probably never will. Now I'm going to play some comments from JP, which if I told you to go to his channel, you wouldn't. So I couldn't complete this story by saying, oh, and for the rest, check out JP's channel. And I'm not going to play everything that he said, just a few excerpts to put together my argument that at the end of the day, Julia is shooting herself in the foot by having done this, and JP has a better chance of rebuilding. So now we're going to have some footage from JP.
I went to the gym to come back to a notification on my phone that I was locked out of my home.
If you just read these messages, her story doesn't even line up to the messages she's talking about. This is instructions. Create a new account. Set up cameras. Same with the locks. You'll have your own locks. You can program them. I don't need to know the code. And then I say all that. And look at this response. You're hostile and a horrible person. You just need to stop your shit. Stop separating the accounts and doing what needs to be done so we can separate our lives. I need to stop separating our lives so we can separate our lives. We should not have joined anything at this point. This is childish behavior. And then she's like, I don't want to hear any more from you, go away. Doesn't that sound like childish behavior? If this continues, your true colors will be exposed. So now that sounds like she's threatening me.
July 31st comes around and he goes on the community page and posts this whole blurb about how he's going to move on and that I'm going to be running the channel. I had no idea that he was going to be posting that. I happened to be at my mom's chilling out for the weekend, and a couple days later I go to log in and
Okay, a couple days later, right after I post that community post, she locks me out. This is her narrative. Let's hear it.
Passwords changed. I didn't have access. I had already been locked out of my own house. My credit cards were canceled. The cops were called on me. Now I'm locked out of my own work, and I started to freak out again, to be honest.
Really? How did you freak out? Did you text me and ask me why I got locked out? No, that's weird. Wouldn't you do that if you got locked out? Wouldn't you be like, JP, like, you know, you're texting me nonstop about the credit cards and the ring and the doors and the Eufy. Why aren't you texting me? Where's the text about you getting locked out of your YouTube channel? Wouldn't that be the most important thing to argue about?
Back into the email. So I used it and changed the password and
She changed the password. So this is where the narrative starts.
was able to regain access.
You didn't regain access, you took away my access.
And I wasn't stupid enough to give him the key because then I would never have access again.
It's just that none of that makes sense. I wasn't stupid enough to give him the key.
I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but I'm pretty sure that he wasn't going to let me back into my own world.
If she was locked out, she would be blasting all over social media. She'd call the National Guard if I actually locked her out. The minute she locked me out, she posted a video saying, everyone, we broke up. She did the announcement video without me. Then right after that, she uploads a video of her in Jamaica. So guess what the comment section is? She left JP for the BBC. I actually named my car Big Black Car. I didn't create that narrative. Why would you post a video about us breaking up and then posting a video of you in Jamaica? You're painting yourself this narrative. Whether it's true or not true, I wouldn't have done that. And now the comments are going nuts. Like right now you can go online and you can see it. It's crazy. And I'll tell you why it's going crazy. Because she left me for like a couple.
Time for me to step in. After Julia went to Jamaica, shortly after making that announcement, I reacted to it, and the reaction that I did was published August 20th, 2023. As I struggle to finish this thing, it's weeks late getting done. It's now September 29th, 2024, and the reaction that I did has received 5,600 and some odd views. And for a channel that's not even 5,000 subscribers, that's a big hit for this little channel. And the graphic that you have there is a grab from what Julia published, she is with two gentlemen in the background, and that's what she published. I photoshopped JP into it. And so that narrative was begun by Julia herself, and it is a narrative that she has played with for years. I'm going to play Julia saying something which is, I don't consider to be racist. I think it's a compliment. However, Julia said it years ago, and I'm going to, as I play it, you'll notice that Ken Domik laughed at it, JP ignored it, and, well, Julia's the one that said it, so, here it is.
I want black coffee and a cigarette.
Once you go black. 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 Once you go black.
So it is Julia who has had a playful attitude about that subject for years. And what she published after she made her announcement without JP participating is what started it. And now she wants to pin it on JP to make him look like a bad guy. That is how passive-aggressive, dishonest people do things. They are the aggressors, and then they want to turn it around and look like they're being attacked. And for JP to make a few jokes, well, he's suffering, so he's got to speak to what's happening to him, and he tried to make some fun of it. He's in show business too, just like Julia. So it's really the pot calling the kettle black.
She left me for like a couple.
He still had access for the entire month of July after quitting calling the cops.
I did have access still. I thought I was going to have access forever. That was never part of the agreement that you're going to lock me out of the channel.
This next little bit is almost 2 minutes long, and it's JP explaining himself, and it's a bit of a cop-out on my part to just grab it and drop it in here. The thing is, it makes part of my argument that Julia is ruining her future in show business. So in order to get there, I gotta run this to show the differences between the two of them, how they're handling themselves after they became adversaries. So hey, you know, it's like almost 2 minutes, and you know, I'll get the commentary back in real soon.
We actually worked better together this way because we could support each other's individual goals.
Someone that supposedly supported me, I didn't think that would cause a ruckus. But by me self-promoting myself, this is going to be my narrative, or what I'm thinking she's doing is she's like, none of that. We're not going to let JP be successful. Boom, he's locked out. That sounds more believable than me locking her out after telling her she's taking over. I grieved. Well, yeah, I did. I grieved for like a year, but while I was grieving, I did everything I needed to do. I joined improv classes. I started playing pickleball. I tried finding any hobby I could. I created a podcast with all my boys to come over. The mom's like a whore with amazing like breast implants. We'd stream movies together and we would just talk about them. The minute I started to vlog again. Could I get that cheeseburger with JP? Just pickles? I was just kind of just like any creator that first starts out. I was just throwing shit at the wall. For my drink, can I have JP? Juice, please? Right. I was recording me going to sets, and I'm like, that's getting kind of repetitious. Repetitious
is what JP just said there. I had to cut him there so you get that scene while I'm talking. And if it was just like a pure documentation of an artist, a comedian, shooting his live gigs and trying to get successful, that would have been good enough because it's JP and we like him. However, you know, yeah, it was getting a little bit repetitious. It's just, you know, he tries another set and how's he doing with it? So even though that would have been good enough, because it would have been the work and how popular the work is getting as he struggles to become self-sufficient doing the comedy by itself, he started changing things up and putting different materials. So anyway, I'll let him keep talking.
I'm like, how do I really turn this into something? And I'm like, you know what? Once this house sells, I'm free. I'm free of the house. I'm free of those responsibilities. And I was just in purgatory waiting for that house to sell so I can get on the road, like you saw, and just see the world, put myself out there, and have zero plan. I had zero plan. How long's the wait for the roller coaster?
5 to 10 minutes.
5-10 minutes, is it? I wanted just random chaos to come my way.
JP is the artist of the team. Julia is the hack. He has the right idea. He's willing to try anything to rebuild. Now remember that, and what he said right there, as I return to my argument and its conclusions a little further on down.
And he started lying and lying and lying, making up
Lying and lying and lying. Let's see how this goes.
all kind of crazy stuff about me and saying it all over the internet. I was scared.
What did I make up about you on the internet?
I was a rabbit. I was running away.
Can you give me an example?
I was thinking that he would just stop one day.
Stop what?
So JP's online lying about
what?
incredibly crude, terrible things.
What?
Well, I'm trying to
What?
get a book. And he continued to tell lies all over social
Okay, what
media,
are the
declaring that he did not quit when he did,
Okay, that's one. Okay, now we're getting examples of the lies.
declaring that I cheated when I did.
My girlfriend actually, she cheated on me with another Asian. Yeah, it's cool. It's not her fault. She said she thought it was me.
With a very bad joke that nobody gets.
But he doesn't care if I cheat on him if I thought it was him.
Saying that I stole the channel. When
You did steal the channel. Those are my 3 lies.
Now we are going to get a little bit more real talk from JP. He's going to share some wisdom about life, which most of us already know. Once you get past 40, then you come to these conclusions on your own. Yet the very fact that he is sharing this shows that of the team, he was not only the funny one, he was also the wise one, because he has the right attitude. By suing him, Julia takes the two of them backwards. So, here's a little bit more from JP.
The short story right now is JP is living in a Sprinter van, traveling to places where he can perform, and vlogging about it. Your life was at one level. For whatever reason it fell apart. You're rebounding, and you don't know if it's going to work out. What advice do you give to people who are either building for the first time or rebuilding after experiencing a loss?
Some people are lost themselves, and if they are, that is the perfect time for them to discover themselves. And that is by not rushing into an endeavor, not rushing into I need to succeed, because that puts too much pressure and you won't be ready if you don't know. So if you don't really know what you want, figure that out. And then once you do, that'll be whatever you're passionate about, whatever you love, becomes sustainable, because anything else you'll burn out on, because it'll become a job. And you'll be bitter because you wanted this, but then you got yourself into something that you don't even like doing. Make sure whatever you're doing, that's what you want to do and that's what you love, because you're not gonna achieve it, and if you do, now you're stuck doing it.
I want everyone to get along. I just want to move forward. I want to be creative. I want to make things happen. I want to be a mover and a shaker. I want everyone to get along. I just want to move forward. I want to be creative. I want to make things happen.
Everything Julia said there is a lie. She wants everyone to get along. How is that possible after she takes action to make everyone a combatant? She wants to move forward. By suing JP, she sends herself, JP, and the healthy junk food legacy backwards. She also tarnishes it. Because JP didn't sue her, he got a lawyer, yes, to talk to her. She gets a lawyer and sues him. There was no rush to do that. She wants to be creative. She could have fooled me. While JP is trying a variety of things and trying to find his place again, Julia is desperately recycling the past glories of healthy junk food, and it is not attracting the audience they once had or any other audience. She wants to make things happen. The only thing she's making happen right now is suffering for both parties. And last, this could be accurate, that she wants to be a mover and a shaker. If things continue as they are, then there's only one place that she can take one thing to move and shake and get money for it. There is more. This is the Instagram of Robin Loves Social, who used to be friends with both JP and Julia, and she made a post on her IG regarding comments she left on healthy junk food that she had to make screen grabs of because Julia takes down all criticism to create and sustain a false narrative. And she says that, Julia, you know that you cheated on JP and you were horrible to him. And what else? Okay, the most important part is Julia was saying somewhere in her community tab that she was about to share a text message from Lorena Pages, who is referred to in this message from Robin as Lorena. And Robin says to Julia that, what are you doing? Because Lorena is not even your friend anymore. So you might ask, who's Lorena Pages? Well, there she is. She's used to be friends with both JP and Julia, and now she's friends with JP, and Robin is friends with JP. What this part of the story is that people are withdrawing from Julia because she's such an evil person. And if you want to be reminded about Lorena Pages from 2 years ago, as I struggled to get this thing finished, Ken went to VidCon 2 years ago, and it was JP, Julia, and Ken hanging around as a third wheel. And so here, I'll give you a bunch of clips so you get to appreciate that Lorena used to be friends with JP and Julia. Here.
Last night I had an awesome time. I met up with JP, Julia, and their friend Lorena. And then we bumped into a whole bunch of people from Jelly Smack.
Sexy. Oh, hello.
Oh.
Internets, are you watching? Because if you are, then you are probably already subscribed. But if you're not, you should check it out. It's at HellthyJunkFood. He's in it, and me, and sometimes she is, because she is my friend.
Alright, Ken's gonna edit that out.
Yep.
Edit what out?
At Lorena Pages, TikTok, Instagram, check her out, YouTube, you know.
Poor guy. You made it out? Good?
Back then, everybody was tight for both personal and business relationships, or as much as they allow us to know about what's going on. Thing is, they are all together working on a project, and it doesn't look like they're hating it. These days, Robin has nothing to do with Julia, and Lorena there has nothing to do with Julia. So now, after a long time, this discussion is going to come to an almost abrupt end. Dame Drops made a post in his community tab 8 months ago. He was talking about starting up a new show on Patreon because, without actually saying it, judging by the comments people were making and him putting hearts on everything, he felt a little bit stifled by the Netflix deal. So he wanted to do something else, something new on Patreon. I don't know if he actually did it or not. Thing is, he was asking for suggestions as to who he should work with. Somebody suggested JP. And now, the quote. Include JP Lambiase. He's original Team Dame and clearly deserves some help after Julia stole healthy junk food from him. Close quote. Here is a reply from Dame Drops after putting a heart on the question. Quote. Big facts. Gotta get that brother back indeed. He caught a bad end on losing his channel that way. Close quote. Dame is still a pretty big deal. His Wikipedia doesn't even mention his comic book, his restaurant, or his book deal. I'm struggling to finish this October 1st, 2024. Go to his channel. He's still performing quite well. Just 5 days ago, he got a Domino's pizza with a friend in the car, and after a little introduction, they just eat it. There's no edits. There's no big production.
Okay, yo, chill.
And in 5 days, he got 58,000 views. That's just on his personality alone. Solo dolo, he can work that way. He has already said he wants to help JP. People are just waiting for the fight to be over. While the fight carries on, JP's channel has a variety of content in it. There's some food, there's some living in the van, there's some comedy, documentation, talks about the fight with Julia every now and then with some real talk and a dash of humor. There's a lot of different things here. He's willing to try lots of different stuff. In contrast, the channel that Julia stole from JP, the remains of Healthy Junk Food, is just recycling past glories, and it's just trying to be Healthy Junk Food without JP. JP doesn't have Healthy Junk Food because it was the team. He's doing something different. Julia is trying to keep Healthy Junk Food going with one half of the team missing. She won't be a clown for us. She's giving us an alpha personality. Even the Mr. Pig character, that's the oink oink spatula from the Joey Corporation. She's relying on that as the avatar. It's in the banner. She never performs the Mr. Pig character because that was JP performing it. So she's holding on to an empty shell of Healthy Junk Food by standing on an avatar, which is Healthy Junk Food, while she won't perform the character, and she won't just run with herself in the avatar, and she can't put JP in there anymore. That's the perfect example of the error of what she's trying to achieve here, and which is also why Mr. Pig is a free agent is now with us.
It is true. In the last 2 years, there's been more pig content produced here than in 10 years at Healthy Junk Food. Julia has no interest in it, yet she still holds the avatar. That's pretty silly.
Do you remember a few minutes earlier when I said that this was going to come to an abrupt end? That was my hope. So I'd like to say to the 6 people out there who are still watching this to the very end, 2 of which will include JP and Julia, not because this is entertaining at this point, it's just because they will have an idle curiosity to check the entire thing, that I'm going to end by letting JP have the last word. And then I'm going to stick a joke in at the tail end with editing some stuff together. JP, with his most recent video, as of October 2nd, 2024, that I'm still trying to finish this thing, he ended with a heartfelt plea to Julia to try to bury the hatchet between the 2 of them. And for what it's worth, I want to say that my reactions towards Julia's materials are not coming out of hate, because in this day and age, everybody identifies criticism as hate, and then you just get written off. That's just a hater. Hater's gonna hate. I react to what Julia's doing to JP because I was a fan of Healthy Junk Food for a long time, feeling disappointed and hurt that it's all falling apart, and that it's falling apart in this way. They were the perfect 21st century couple. You got a white Jewish woman and an Asian, raised by Italians, so probably 99% positive Catholic, and they weren't sickening personalities. They were cute and funny personalities, and I thought they were gonna like get picked up by a major studio or something, and I was glad for their success, and now there's this, and my experience with Julia has all been online for her reaching out to destroy this channel with false copyright strikes. It's such a disappointment. So my advice, whether she wants it or not, to Julia is for her to start putting together a fresh channel and start promoting it now before the trial or the settlement takes place. And even though I criticize you a lot, I was a fan of both of you working together, so it's a little hypocritical of me. It's just, I was criticizing the decline in quality of what used to be an awesome channel, and who would have guessed that you would reach out to destroy this channel. So, you know, just take that amazing butt and, you know, the talent that you do have, and do something great, like JP will say. And because the Healthy Junk Food, what's left of it is all toxic now. There's even the JP and Julia channel that isn't even in the Healthy Junk Food more about this channel description anymore. It's all just, you know, toxic, and people aren't going to have good feelings about it. So you should do the most positive thing and, you know, let go of this Mr. Pig avatar that you don't perform the character for, and the legacy of the channel is misery now. And JP's idea that you guys would have worked out a little more professionally, and then it could have just been left alone, and you spin off amicably. This is all just, I don't even like talking about it. It's like, where's the entertainment or the fun in any of this? So, JP is going to say something from his most recent video, and, you know, maybe people on the Julia side of things might say it's fake. It doesn't matter if it's fake or not. I mean, it's a wish for this fight to be over with, and for Julia to go do something on her own. Julia needs to start a fresh channel immediately, like yesterday. Because to take those advantages of stealing the channel away from JP and then suing him hurts him a lot, and you get to enjoy that advantage, yet the majority of the people are waiting for you to withdraw and waiting to help JP. Right now, there's just too much drama. So, if you keep doing this, you're going to ruin your future in show business, because you're going to be too dangerous to deal with, and you're going to be known as a mean person. I don't want to start swearing here. So that's the conclusion of this giant reaction and argument, that Julia might take some advice from this and don't complete the trial or get to a settlement, because, you know, as a fan of healthy junk food for so long, yeah, I'm going to keep making reactions of what Julia's done to the remains of it, because she tried to destroy my channel, and I'm on the JP side of things. Yet, to be honest, it would be nicer if JP... I'm going to leave that in. This is so long. It'd be nicer if Julia would do something on her own, just as JP suggests. So, we're almost finished with this. I'm going to play what JP said for Julia, and whether it's fake or not, it's still good advice. My argument is that Julia is ruining her future in show business by not starting a new channel immediately. And if you can stand another couple of minutes of this, I've edited it together so there will be a joke at the end of it. Speaking as a longtime fan of healthy junk food, the two of you created joy, and now JP is struggling to create joy yet again. And Julia, you should leave behind the remains of healthy junk food and go create joy on your own terms, so that the two of you can then offer joy again for everyone else. And now, the last word is for JP.
Have you seen that video Julia just posted about you?
It's crazy, right?
It's just hard, you know? People grew up watching you guys. How are you dealing with all that?
I just want this whole situation to end.
It will stay strong, JP.
I always say too much and I get jealous. I never hear you out, and that is selfish. I always start the fight and you put the fire out.
If you're watching this, I don't want to fight anymore. As much pain as we've gone through, I understand that people move on. I have no ill will towards you. Ignore the internet. My intentions for you were to move on and do something great on your own. I just hope one day, when the dust settles, we can put an end to this war and be friends. Because you were my best friend, and I'll always cherish the good memories I had with you. What's up?
You want breakfast?
I want black coffee and a cigarette.
Once you go black.